Afternoon, Mr. Agnishwar, and welcome to this special segment of nasscom Conversations.
Thank you so much for having me, ma'am.
Okay, starting with your journey, you've transitioned from an international swimmer to tech entrepreneur. What inspired you to venture into drone industry, and how does your background influence your approach to innovation?
Well, I was a former Asian gold medalist in sport of swimming. I started swimming when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
I had over 10 years of experience in representing the country at the highest level. I was a 6-time SAF gold medalist, one of the top 50 swimmers in the world at a point. And it really influenced the way I run things at Garuda Aerospace, because it influences so many facets of life, teaches you a lot of hard work, dedication, perseverance, resilience, having to have the mental fortitude to overcome a lot of adversity. And I believe that all of those attributes are very vital in the startup ecosystem, especially in India. Because when you can run a startup successfully in India, you can do that anywhere else in the world. Much like how if you can learn how to drive in India, you can drive anywhere in the world. So I believe that early spark, as well as a decade worth of pursuit of excellence in a professional as well as a very demanding sport like swimming. It is an individual sport. There's a lot of loneliness in terms of not being in a team sport, so it's all about you staying in your lane, trying to get better every single time. And it doesn't matter if who your your father or your grandfather is, doesn't matter about your background. If you're good on that day, you win. If you're not, your competitor wins. No one can stop you, you can't stop anyone. So that facet of individuality really is something that I tend to emulate a lot into business as well, because as a startup founder, many a time you don't have too many people to bounce around your honest thought. Yes, you can have a lot of advisors, you can have a lot of team members, even co-founders, but in all of it, you're mostly alone in terms of taking the hard decisions, in terms of taking certain strategic decisions. So I'm very lucky in that way, because my wife is my co-founder as well. So she really supports me in what I do. But in terms of taking big decisions, I believe that the lessons I've learned in swimming has really helped me to take many big decisions, and some of them have been quite successful. Some of them I've learned a lot, and I believe that learning is a constant process when it comes to this ecosystem.
Sports also helps, as they say, to embrace failure much better. Is there something that you relate to in your, especially in your startup journey? Yeah,
I mean, I would never term it as a failure, because every opportunity to succeed or fail is very, very subjective in terms of today. If we get a 100 crore contract, you consider it successful. If you don't and you lose it out to your competitor, it's considered a failure. But in the startup ecosystem, especially in drones and in deep tech, you keep getting all of these opportunities. So every single opportunity, are we learning? Even if we win, are we learning in terms of how to repeat that victory, how to learn from those victories? Not as much as you learn a lot from failures, because you take so many things and you're very objective, you're critical about yourself. But there are lessons to be learned from success as well, in terms of how do you continue to keep getting better, how do you focus on the nuances, how do you stay true to the passion that you came into this particular sector in the first place. So I believe that a lot of those beautiful life lessons in swimming is transcending into my corporate culture and corporate journey.
Oh, that's very beautifully put. You started long before drones were mainstream in India. What was the original spark behind this idea?
Well, I had the opportunity to be part of the United Nations after my master's, and while I was pursuing my program at Harvard. It was during that time where I had a lot of access to impact reports and case studies, particularly on emerging technologies and deep technologies, automation and robotics, and how they could disrupt several multi-billion-dollar segments and sectors in India, Southeast Asia, and other developing economies. So I felt that during that time there was a common misconception that drones could be used only for videography, photography, in weddings, in IPL matches, or the other end of the spectrum is in the defense space. I believe that that was a great disservice, and there was plenty of other sectors like in terms of mining, in precision agriculture, in oil and gas, in structural damage assessment, Industry 4.0 in general. You can program drones to do so many different applications. And I think that the spark in me was to transform drone from a data capturing tool into a supercomputer on wings, to make it an intelligent device that can perform a lot of applications that human beings or archaic machinery was not able to perform. So the ultimate goal was to increase efficiency and reduce expenses for our clients, and we managed to do that very successfully since inception. We've been growing strength to strength. From 2020 we were at 2 crores. The next year in 21-22 we were at 15 crores. 22-23 we were at 47 crores in revenue. 23-24 we were at 109 crores, and 24-25 at 123 crores. And in the last 4 years we have been profitable. We have a good 35% gross margin, 24% EBITDA margins, 15% PAT margins. And only when you have the fundamentals of business, when you lead with technology, and when you consistently create impact for your clients, such growth is consistent.
Correct.
Otherwise, you would have some up and down. You have a lot of volatility, and I believe that we, as Garuda Aerospace, have weathered a lot of storms, especially in the early part of our lives, because we have stayed true to what we intended to start the company with, which is to disrupt.
You've seen phenomenal growth, but if we see the adoption, what do you think, what is required to have this sort of an adoption at scale in India, especially in a country like India?
I think it is happening, but what dominates the news is food hailing companies or cab hailing companies, delivery startups, educational learning companies, or if not just the positives, if someone does wrong, that dominates the news. But in my opinion, adoption has been significant in the last 4 to 5 years, ever since the drone rules was liberalized in 2020-21, and the production link incentives was brought in 21-22. And the Prime Minister had launched 100 of our drones in 100 locations in 2022. Dhoni came board as a brand ambassador as well as an investor, and since then the adoption of drones, just Garuda drones, has been over 4,000.
Wow.
And in a country where there are about 10,000 to 12,000 agricultural drones, having a 30% market share in just 2 to 3 years time is phenomenal. On top of that, we have served over 450 clients, including Vedanta, Godrej, Cipla, Adani, Reliance, Tata's, plenty of PSUs like Steel Authority of India, Odisha Mining Corporation mapping 7,000 villages in UP, Survey of India's, the NHAI doing 5-year contracts, plenty of different PSUs like NFL, RCF, BVFCL to supply drones and provide drones as a services. We have redefined how drones as a services functions in India, and that is because of the kind of hardware and ingenuity we brought in terms of equipping these drones with probes, sensors, magnetometers, high-powered lasers, sprayers, thereby capturing data in never before seen ways and performing applications which usually the archaic machinery find it difficult to cope with this evolving requirements and problem statements that we are consistently figuring out while we are interacting with our clients.
Was this a decision, an intentional decision to stay away from SaaS or probably just stick to hardware?
No, not at all. I think SaaS and the hardware innovation goes hand in hand. When it comes to drone applications, of course, drones are hardware oriented, but that is a classic mistake of assuming that it is only hardware. There is a lot of software and data analysis and processing that goes on, because ultimately drones are capturing a lot of information. It needs to be processed, it needs to be analyzed and monetized. When it comes to the brain of the drone, that's completely SaaS, that's completely your software in terms of programming how the hardware performs optimally. So it is always a combination of hardware 33%, software 33%, data is another 33%, and 1% is probably where we play a role in terms of the intelligence.
Okay, what is the way forward?
I think Garuda is definitely going to be one of the most valuable drone companies, not just in India but in the world, and that is because we identify problem statements and we work on them. I believe that the country as in whole is going to evolve into a global drone hub by 2030, because the pace at which innovations are happening, I believe that equipped with the most valuable resource in the world, which is our Indian youth, I think that not just the drone ecosystem in general, but any allied field in automation and in terms of artificial intelligence is going to really transform the way the landscape is working. And I believe that Garuda is going to be one of those champions. We are getting all the prerequisites done in order to make us IPO ready. We have been fundamentally a consumer and a customer funded growth company, and not a investor funded growth company, which means we survive and we thrive and grow based on the profits that we generate. We have not gone with a model of a growth at all costs and trying to raise the next valuations and trying to become a unicorn company, because our focus is to impact 1 billion lives and not reach $1 billion valuations. So I think with that, Garuda is well on track. As you know, Mahendra Singh Dhoni being our brand ambassador and investor has given us a lot of support and positive vibes going into this pre-IPO journey. And I believe that with all the good blessings and the work that we've done, and also the kind of testimonials and client feedback that we're having, we are very positive that not just in India but even across the world, Garuda's drones are now being sought after.
Fascinating story and fascinating vision, Agnishwar, and I wish you all the very best
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
all your beliefs.
Thank you. Take care.